Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now in session. Commissioner Jones with the lead us in prayer and pledge, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Our Father, we thank you today for this day that you've given to us. We thank you for opportunities, for abilities. God, we thank you, Lord, for decisions that to be made today, that you're with us. We ask you for wisdom. We believe, Lord, that you will grant that to us. Father, we thank you for each and every resident, each and every visitor. Help us, Lord, to make our decisions in light of all of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Next on the agenda will be approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Master,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parrish. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. Next will be payment of the county bill.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Burt, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimous. Public comment.
Morning. Mike O'Connell, representing the St. George Island Civic Club. I just wanted to say a quick thank you for particularly Commissioner Jones' assistance in the restore money, being able to come over and do a study on the stormwater of the downtown area of St. George Island. And this goes into that, dovetails into the ordinance you passed about 2 years ago. So this is the first step in trying to take care of the downtown area, making it more attractive, and certainly the first step is to get the water off of there to prepare for the next storm. So we just want to thank you for your ongoing support of that, and we appreciate all you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liz Sisson from East Point. I'd just like to make a comment after reading in the minutes Mr. Schuler's report regarding Serenity. Gentlemen, I'm skeptical of developers from Destin. And when I read their unwillingness to improve Begonia Street, I became more skeptical. I know investors are in it to make the dollar. I look at their unwillingness to possibly be investors who want the almighty dollar, and what are we going to be left with? What is East Point, Franklin County, going to be left with? I ask you that question. I also ask the question, what do their developments look like? What have they left in Destin and other places that they have developed? Is it the booming, whatever they say it's going to be, or is it a white elephant? Something that we have to clean up after. I'm one of those who chose to live in Franklin County, and I call my little piece a small piece of paradise. I want to let others come in and enjoy that piece of paradise, but please, can we do it under our terms, our conditions, so that we can all be stewards of this piece of paradise? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is David Walker, and I'm working with Florida A&M University Cooperative Extension Program. And we're here in the county to establish a business incubator program, innovation center here in Franklin County. And I just came on board to take over that project. Another thing that we're offering for seafood workers, anybody in the county, Wakulla Environmental Institute offer a oyster aquaculture class starting in September. I have 4 slots. I have 2 slots already filled, but we're willing to pay for 2 individuals additional individuals to take this class. The class uses costs between $200 to $300. So we're sponsoring 4 individuals from Franklin County. Like I said, I have 2 slots available now. So if anybody, any of your constituents want to look into this particular class, they can reach me at 850-228-9252. Michael Marone, he has my phone number as well as my email information as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Walker, have you gone to the public school system and made this invitation as well?
No, I haven't been to the public school
Would that
system
be appropriate?
as of yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will.
Because I know they're big on trying to do folk rehab.
Yeah. We'll be working with the schools, cities, even the TDC, as well as the local chamber of commerce as well, as we start this innovation center here in the county. Thank
Where
you.
you gonna have that school at?
No, it's, the school's gonna be in Wakulla. It's the
Okay.
Wakulla class. It starts in September, Monday nights from 6 to 9 p.m. And it's, I think, maybe a 6-week course, I believe. And so they usually do that course every year. And so we figured we could probably sponsor some slots for Franklin County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alan Pfeiffer, President of Concerned Citizens, Franklin County. The bearer of bad news is not always the enemy, Commissioners. The enemy is complacency and misguided intentions. Unfortunately, we now have that in spades. Yesterday, an incorrectly advertised meeting of the hospital board was held, advertised at various times as an extension of the meeting last Thursday, a meeting to be held at 9 a.m. and a meeting at 3 a.m. I informed the county attorney asked that the meeting be canceled due to lack of notice. I have an opinion letter from Barbara Peterson with the First Amendment Foundation and the Attorney General's office indicating that notice is required. That's 1. 2, last Thursday's meeting with the hospital board was significant for the lack of attendance of the individual responsible for construction management, Nicole, how do you pronounce that last name? Tepe, who was not invited. H.D. Cannington stated he believed the hospital could be rebuilt for $14 million and not the $17 million figure given the previous week by the architect. He asked, would the commissioners go along with that number? There was no discussion of how $3 million magically disappeared from the budget, and it is my understanding that the numbers were internally generated. The CCSC has no confidence in any numbers coming from Mr. Cannington. 3, your representative and board member, Michael Marone, was obviously perplexed and has a difficult job of championing the hospital and protecting the county at the same time. I don't envy him. This divided loyalty that we've started now with for example, the construction manager who reports to you guys and is also reporting to H.D. Cannington. I understand that there's been substantial problems at the hospital relative to this situation already. 4, by the same token, it's an open secret that Mr. Cannington is very unhappy with Mrs. Tepechi's new role, in essence, taking it away from the hospital. My understanding is that there's been cussing and derisiveness leveled at her at work. Note, I have not spoken to her personally. 5, I have become aware that Wings operated without workman's comp insurance for a period of weeks or months this year, and that while without insurance, facility manager Jenny Greiner was hurt on the job and is not yet back on an unrestricted basis at this time. I believe we are now in the state pool, although I don't know that for sure, which charges outsized rates for those unable to get insurance elsewhere. I'm going to make you aware of the enforcement action by the state which I have the law here for you, that could subject us to 2 years penalty, 2 years of premiums having to be paid as a penalty, as it states, for running the hospital without benefit of workman's comp and insurance. Lastly, as to the CFO, Bill Stork, it is my understanding that he has not participated or vetted the construction numbers, and we are still awaiting the April financial numbers. I have to ask the question, what's going on here? What is the Commission's tolerance for risk? Are all the Commissioners aware that the proposed contract to build is not a lump sum, but a cost-plus contract? It was talked about in this commission last year that it was going to be a lump sum, or maybe it was 2 years ago. But now, at the last meeting, it was stated publicly that this is a cost-plus contract. I just got to ask the question, who's minding the store? How are we exposing ourselves to penalties for operating a hospital without workers' comp insurance? And what is our legal liability relative to people having been hurt in that donut hole of when we didn't have insurance? I want to make sure the public and the commission both know that these situations exist. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Michael?
Good morning. I've got some, Gail Rigglemeyer, St. George Island. I've got some documents if I could pass out to the commissioners and Michael Schuler and Michael Malone, please. Okay. At May's St. George Island Civic Club meeting, a committee was formed to look into allowing golf carts and motorized vehicles on the bike path on St. George Island from the plantation to the state park. I'm here today to ask you not to support this idea for the following reasons. Number one, actually there's 7 reasons. Number one, it would be a safety hazard. The bike path is a heavily used amenity by people riding bikes, walking their dogs, mothers with babies in strollers, jogging and walking. I also use the path on the east end and have experienced all of us users having to make way for each other. On several occasions, I nearly had a run-in with a bicyclist who didn't announce himself when coming up from behind me. What would happen if that was a golf cart going 20 miles per hour instead? Adding golf carts to the mix would be a potential safety hazard and an accident waiting to happen. Why put this liability on the county? Number 2, the county already has an ordinance that allows people to drive golf carts in designated areas of the island. This ordinance is working just fine. The spirit of the golf cart ordinance when it was written around 2007 was to limit their use on SGI. In fact, the law reads specifically, quote, rentals limited. Businesses renting golf carts shall not rent more than 5 golf carts per location, end quote. As you can see from the attached photos taken this past Saturday morning, in each of these 3 locations there were more than 5 golf carts. One location had 8, another had 10, and yet another had 14. And these do not include the golf carts that were already rented, which I saw driving around the island during the time I was out. These are examples of a blatant disregard for our current ordinance and the spirit of the law. How is it that this is allowed under our current law? It's because there exists no way to enforce that they comply. If golf carts are allowed on the bike path, it would only encourage these companies to increase their fleets and also encourage visitors to bring down their own golf carts, significantly growing golf cart usage on SGI. 3, given that there is no way to enforce the number of golf cart rentals now, if the golf carts or motorized vehicles are allowed on the bike path, it would be the camel's nose under the tent and set a precedent. How will you regulate and stop rental companies from providing and others driving other motorized vehicles such as ATVs, motorized scooters, bikes, skateboards, hoverboards, segways, and any other manner of motorized vehicles? As is already evident, the rental companies already do not comply with Franklin County's current ordinance. On a daily basis, there are instances where our golf cart laws are regularly disobeyed. 4, what I don't understand is the reason that we are even considering this. Is it so that the few rental companies can make more money at the detriment of the many? St. George Island was not designated as a golf cart plan unit development like other communities in Florida and other states.
Time up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comments?
How y'all doing, Commissioner? Brian Krantz.
Come on.
Actually, we are working with the Civic Club, and I've actually talked to Ricky about allowing golf carts on Gulf Beach, or excuse me, on the bike path. Peachtree City in Georgia, Michael talked to Michael. He said try to use something else besides a Georgia example. But anyway, they've done it for years, multi-purpose path, I think like 47 years. They've had no issues, 2 issues over 40-some years. They have regulations. The golf carts need to be, I think, in Franklin County, need to be registered, especially on the island. If somebody registers it, then they automatically get, all the rules, regulations. Keeps people from having to drive on Gulf Beach Drive where people between streets can't even get to their house, even if they bring a golf cart, bring their own golf cart. We propose that they even, the people that bring golf carts have to register theirs, so they know how to abide by the law. But anyway, the whole east end isn't accessed by golf cart. Anything in between the streets, from the Plantation to 11th Street, is inaccessible by golf carts unless you're on those corners. I think St. George Island could be a golf cart community. Other places have done it, throughout the United States and not had any problems whatsoever. You're always going to have a few that are going to be against everything, But anyway, thank you.
Thank you. There any more public comment? Any more public comments? Not, we're going on the agenda. Next on the agenda will be Department Director Report. Mr. Howard Neighbor, Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
All right, how you doing, huh?
Just got a couple, 3 items on the grass cut. We continue on with Carabel and Alligator Point today, so probably be there the rest of this week, and we'll start back over. So, and the demonstrator motor grader come in yesterday, which we'll try out this week, and I'll get back up with the board next meeting, let y'all know how it works, and also get up with Aaron on it to see if we can work something out to be able to get it. And a new paint machine that we ordered to come in, so we got all it in, so we probably start painting some more lines and stuff in East Point for St. George Island, all through the county. So, and one more item I have, I can't remember what it was. But the Alligator Point too, also on the new pavement, we had a little washout, which wasn't bad.
Really?
But it wasn't from the tide, it was from the rain. So we fixed it. We just put rock back in it, regular rock, where the water would run through it instead of wash out. So,
That's on the new part?
yes, sir.
Okay.
But the pavement's good. It didn't hurt the pavement or nothing, but we good on this.
Oh,
The only comment back on the asphalt is that, $35,000 worth of work, that included the asphalt, obviously, it also included the effort to make the road 2 lanes. So even if the asphalt washes away, we still have a 2-lane road down there, which is a benefit to the community and also a benefit to our cash flow, because we're not spending $3,000 or $4,000 a month for the traffic light.
Yeah.
So we're still ahead, even if the asphalt washes out.
Which we was getting a call on every week with them lights, so.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's the problem. So we're ahead, and the asphalt's gonna get damaged, it's not just, it's gonna get destroyed when the new road's rebuilt anyway, so this is a temporary fix, so I'm sorry that we can wash some of it, but eventually we're gonna lose it all. Just the price of business.
that coming from the base not being no good?
Well, no, it's coming from the ocean, the water being too close to the road.
I know.
Well, with the rain event, because there's no control of the stormwater at this point, because it's just running down the road, it's running down the road and then eating into the soft base, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could, and it's because the road wasn't built to be permanent, so there's really no solution except to build a permanent road, in a different location.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I can tell you that the county has just received huge amounts of celebration and praise by the people utilizing that road at Alligator Point. It's just increased the morale and the spirits and just a lot of quality compliments. So,
And it's good. I mean, we was getting 7, 8 calls a week, when it was lime rock, so
and now you get none.
none.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good trial for what to come, because
Yep.
we're gonna need, really, it's gonna need some sand out there. 'Cause with the new road and everything else, it's still gonna, with that water that close, we're gonna have problems.
And I'll be in my report, I'll be talking about that same, the beach inertia issue, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, so you're exactly right. It's something that has to happen if we want to protect the road.
So if you get a little storm or something, it's gonna take it out. So.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead.
Howard, sometime next week, I want to get up with you.
Okay.
In our current golf cart ordinance,
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to have a couple of places on the island that they're actually crosswalks for golf carts
Mm-hmm.
that we've never done since we had the machine. I want to utilize them.
Okay.
And I'll get up with you and talk to you about that. Also, I forgot the list. Too many things going on, but I have a list.
Okay.
I want to get some more signs relative to what we have over there now to give better flow for traffic with golf carts and everything involved.
Okay.
But I'll get up with you about those signs.
Okay, we'll do it. Could let me know what a good day will be.
I will, and to be honest with you, when we get the signs, I'm probably going to give them to Jim Ward at the Sheriff's Department.
Mhm.
He told me he would make sure they were installed because they know where they're having enforcement issues.
Okay.
He knows better about where they need to be placed, so I'm going to trust him with that.
Okay.
But I'll get up with you about it.
And the welcome center sign, which I mentioned to you, we have one from the storm. It was damaged pretty bad on the west end of the county. Before you get to Duke Energy, which we picked it up yesterday, it's finished, so we get it up for the week's out.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Anybody got anything for Mr. Hyde? Keep up the good work, sir.
yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Next on the agenda will be Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste Director.
Boston Red, Animal Control.
Yeah,
Good morning, Commissioners.
What else?
How y'all doing?
All right.
all right.
Good. Just a few things here on the report to make you aware of the, we had the ball tournament, both boys and girls. We have 3 teams from the boys that will be advancing to state. Commissioner Massey, you asked me, the double A team will be leaving the 28th of this month going to Sebring, Florida. The other 2 teams will be playing in Mariana. And also we have 1 girls team that automatically advanced to the state. Didn't have nobody to play, so they'll be advancing. The other teams, Mr. Jody Martina actually sent me a text this morning, wanted me to let you all know how much they appreciated all the support. And it said Franklin County hosted the District 2 Dixie Youth Tournament. We have 3 teams representing Franklin County. The Darlings, which are the 6 through 8-year-old, placed second after a close battle with Mariana. The Angels placed second after going undefeated until the championship game, but failed to Blountstown. The Ponytail team didn't place in the tournament, but fought hard in both of their games. Thanks for what you all do. The fields look great, and Franklin County was represented well by the young girls. That was from Mr. Jody Martina, which is the president of the league. And that's it for us, the tournaments. Also, you all had, we talked about the dune walkovers, and being that we've been with the tournament and everyday duties, asked the conservation courts to come out and look at it and see what it would cost for the repairs, to get them right now where they'll be safe, because instead of getting emails, phone calls, and also Mr. Moran is getting them. We went through and looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dune walkovers that's unsafe right now. And I don't have a grand total. I actually just received this email yesterday from the conservation group, and I had asked Mr. Foley to come just in case they have any questions. But we have labor as high as $760, take 2 days, and materials as high as $117 for each dune walkovers. Like I said, I do not have a grand total of what it would take to fix these, but we, the Park and Rec Department, do not have the time right now. And I would greatly appreciate it if the board would go along with allowing Conservation of Corps, if not them, somebody to come in and fix these dune walkovers.
Pleasure of the board.
So move.
Second. Got a motion on the floor, but,
Discussion. Fonda,
wait a
is this
minute,
some- is this
wait a
something
minute,
in your
wait.
budget? Sorry.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Burke,
Yep, that's right.
second by Commissioner Master. Discussion, now go ahead.
Fonda,
Yes.
where are we getting the money from? Is it coming out of your budget, or is that not a problem? I know it's not a lot of money, but it's just prudent to always ask the same questions.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is that
Right.
something that's in your budget that's not a problem?
Well, the money, hopefully, with the FEMA reimbursement, that we can use it to do what we need to do at the time.
Okay, but we still have to do it first. Is it coming out of your budget, or is it coming out of capital outlay? What's it coming out of?
It'll be coming out my budget.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
sir.
fine. Okay.
It's okay then.
You good?
I need to ask the question.
Yeah.
Fonda, is this permanent work,
No.
No.
temporary work?
Temporary.
Okay, because we're doing mitigation on that, which means FEMA will cover that.
Okay.
But you got to make sure that it's clear and precise that this is just temporary, that this comes out when, have they come out and did your inspections yet
Yes.
for your mitigation?
No, I'm sorry. I met with, the state, being that it's the season, turtle season. That's who I met with. I haven't not met with
Mm-hmm. All right,
FEMA.
let me get with FEMA so we can get that scheduled, because once you start building, then FEMA's gonna look at that as temporary, as permanent repairs.
Okay.
So let me get with them, get your mitigation inspection done for those walkovers. And then we'll talk to them that we got to put something in for safety until we can come back and put a permanent solution there.
Okay. So
Okay.
how long, I guess? we
I'm
need to
on,
know-
I'm gonna go to the office today and contact, TJ, I think his name, we've got an AJ and now we've got a TJ. And say, we need somebody ASAP to
Yeah.
get down here to do the mitigation portion of that.
Okay.
Okay?
If we, go ahead, Mr. Shu.
Mr. Chairman, just some directions for Mr. Davis, make sure he coordinates whatever work's being done through our building department, so they can make sure that the Florida Building Code requirements are taken. Even though it's temporary work, it still has to be constructed according to the Florida Building Code, so that's what I want to put on the record.
And the permanent repair after turtle season will actually be, we'll be going back with the ramps, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
When turtle season over?
November 30th. October 30th?
October.
Hurricane November 30th, you're right.
One question, sir. Is there an agreement we're gonna have with conservation, a written agreement that the attorney needs to review, or?
I don't think this short term is an agreement, not, yeah.
Wanna make sure.
I think he said he has a cost estimate that he can put into the record with the
Okay.
finance department.
Okay.
So I think that would,
That was fine.
I think that'll be fine. That and making sure they coordinate the building department should give us a sufficient record.
Yeah, and I do
Oh.
believe the only agreement is one where we actually allow the Conservation Corps to be on county property. So that's the only form of the agreement. I have seen one for Escambia County, so it'll just be, granting them permission.
Okay, well, Mr. Davis, when y'all get this settled out,
Okay.
shoot it to Michael so he can pass it on down to us so we'll know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
Wanda, did some of those mitigation repairs on these boardwalk walkovers include anything at Alligator Point? Did you identify some addresses there?
It's some that, yes, sir, need to repair, but none that's, I guess, right now that's,
Safety.
I guess, the ones on the island is unsafe right now, but no complaints from the ones on Alligator Point, other than that they need to be repaired totally. So it's nothing unsafe. I hate to say it like that.
Sure, you have
but-
to categorize.
You're right.
Okay, but ultimately, these repair issues are relative to Hurricane Michael, and there will be some funding from FEMA, I presume, at some point
Yes.
to repair them.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I guess the bottom line, y'all trying to take care of the safety issues now.
Yeah,
That's correct.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Since the summer season is upon us,
Yeah.
we have to close the board ramps, so people can't use them, which is gonna create a whole other process of problems, or we make temporary repairs.
yeah, so. I guess y'all checked all the rest of the areas? Like
Yes.
Alligator Point all
Yes, sir.
the rest of the beaches. So, well, do what you gotta do. We got to keep the people safe, that's our job. Y'all ready to vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimous.
Okay. Just want to let you all know, more complaints, concerns, safety issue about the fishing pier, St. George Island, the erosion. So what I'm gonna get with Mr. Howard, neighbors, and see if we can add some sand in there to help hold the pavement from breaking off. Again, that's another one of them projects we waiting on, FEMA. But that'd be another temporary fence.
Well, that saying I hold it to, you know, or we need to do a little more.
Yeah, I think the saying, I talked with Mr. Clay, with Dewberry, and he said he think the clay would, the saying would help right now.
Okay, go. Just like Alan said, the traffic in here on us now.
Right.
I mean, the season has started and the people, it's gonna be the high time they come. So we got to try to keep people from getting hurt at least.
Right, the good news, this is the section of the road that's damage fund is the section that has a seawall, right?
No.
Oh, it's up right by the road?
Yes.
Okay, well, and anyway, you need to put some sand there. I mean, that section of the road washes out under a strong east wind. But it has to be a really strong east wind to get up there where there's no seawall. So
Yeah,
I think it'll be, I'm I don't think it'll happen that often. So you need to fix it. I think it'll be good for a while.
Right. Mr. Clay, you,
Well, they walk, that evening.
so I guess I understand right next to the restroom what we were talking about.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, I think Alan's on St. George Island with his,
We're on St. George Island, right?
no, I think you are.
I am.
We're on,
Okay,
we're on
Eastport.
East
Sorry if
Point.
I said something. Oh, no, Eastport.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said St. George.
Yeah. Did I say something? I'm sorry, East
You
Point.
did, and I was sitting there wondering, I was like, what is he?
Yeah,
talking about?
correct, I'm sorry. Correction, it's on the East Point side, right next to the restroom.
Where the road's undermined.
Yeah.
That's down on the Carabel Beach.
Hmm.
No, it's on the north side of the fishing pier, on that end with the restaurant, right when you're going down.
Oh,
And that area already has barricades up. I mean, so there's protection so that nobody's driving on it. But as the rain washes, it's continuing to undermine underneath the asphalt. We just need to get some dirt out there to slow that progress until we can get the FEMA money to get the repairs done.
Yeah, when I said traffic, I shouldn't have said that, cause I was talking about the walking traffic.
And yes, sir, no, I mean, that's still a danger, is that somebody gets out there, especially if a piece of that asphalt breaks off with them standing on it, you know, it's always a danger, but.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can break some ankles. Okay.
Fonda, since you did bring it up, I think we do need to ride and look at the St. George Island side of the fishing pier, because there are a lot of issues around that ramp. I don't know that we can fix them all, or at least we need to go look at it. I want to schedule time to look at it together with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That way I can share some of the input I've been getting from residents and business owners, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because what we have, the bigger picture, we have a real problem with that ramp, with where it's located, because if you have an east wind, like Alan was talking about, you better not use that boat ramp. I'm just telling you, you better not use that boat ramp in the east wind. I've had people that I've known all my life that have been on the water, like most of us on this board have, and they messed their boat up and almost messed theirself up, trying to load their boat on the east wind on that ramp. It is not conducive to being used during an east wind. So I don't know, we did talk last time about putting some signs up also out there, so there's no fishing allowed around the boat ramp, because people are standing all up on the walls and people are fighting to get their boat up, and there's people fishing in the way. Of course, you know, they're gonna stay there fishing. But it might be helpful for us to come up with some kind of flag or something to put up there, so everybody might not know what an east wind is, but we can at least put some kind of chart conditions. If they see the flag blowing a certain way, they know they might not want to use that ramp. You know what I mean? Or at least be advised anyway. So we'll talk about it further when we get out there, but I think there's some issues there and we need to try to mitigate them.
It's been like that since it was built.
It has.
I bet it
Yeah.
on the east wind.
Yeah, and it ain't gonna change anytime soon.
Not gonna change.
The
Got
solution
no
which was.
break.
Yeah, the solution, which was something either we couldn't afford or couldn't get a permit, I forget which, but we investigated, was putting a stem wall or a buffer there so that the east wind is blocked, out from away from the ramp. But it was something that was just not, we couldn't get done at the time. And I will tell you that, in all my 30 years, this is the only location we could get a ramp on the island. We tried everywhere else. So, I mean, it had a limitation, but at least it was a ramp that in the north, south, and west wind, you could use. But in that east wind, it was the only place on the island that we could get deep water, that we didn't need to dredge, we weren't messing with the oyster bars. And so, yeah, I realize the ramp has limitation, but I just want to know for the record, we tried everywhere else on the island. This was,
Yeah, it was, Alan, from my memory, DEP was saying that there's some kind of seagrass or something that can't be messed with.
it was something they wouldn't let us put wing walls.
That was what we were told anyway.
Okay.
Okay, solid waste, we have a loaner excavator there that, actually we had two at one time, John Deere and Caterpillar. Left us one there. We, been able to get pretty close to catch up with the yard trash just by the loaners there. So, that's going pretty good. The rain caused a lot of, flooding in the landfill, but, we're working on that also. Make it accessible for the customers. Animal control is the same as usual, with a lot of complaints about stray dogs, but we taking care of it.
People is, I'm getting complaint, the people, they know we don't work on the weekend and after 5, and they letting their dogs out. Let them roaming and rolling all the weekend, and then they out to 5. So just something to think about.
Okay.
We gonna have to, I don't know what we can do. But
Fonda, what is the role of the animal control officer relative to enforcement of code? Do we have an animal control officer?
Yes, sir.
We do.
We have two.
Two, okay. And again, I think just because of our public beaches and so on, where all of us are hearing of issues of unresponsible controlled dogs and other animals. And is there any thoughts about actively enforcing, having an active enforcement program that's publicly known, or are we doing it?
Well, the challenge is.
What are your thoughts?
that Franklin County considers itself to be, and I say this, I'm sure some people
friendly,
get mad at me.
pet friendly.
Pet friendly, dog
Yes,
friendly. And so
sure.
on a beach, you are allowed to have your dog, and
Sure.
your dog only has to be under voice control. And that's a term of art as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, it is.
One person's voice control may not be the same as someone else's. So that's the issue, is the dog under voice control, or is someone still feeling threatened when I'm the dog owner, say, yeah, it's under voice control, and you, so walking on the beach doesn't think it is. So that's the standard we go by, Commissioner. Unless you want to change that standard, there's going to be built-in conflict.
Okay.
Just the way it is.
Are there other counties that just simply have leash control?
Oh, absolutely.
And
Many counties, no dogs on the beach, no dogs, no glass, no
Yeah.
alcohol on the beach.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we are very liberal in that regard. This is what we allow because we are pet friendly. And it's just this policy of the board based upon what the community wanted. But that's your policy. That's a decision for you all to make.
Okay.
Press the boot on that then.
What do you think? And we had
Well, if I might, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
if you ask anybody that has a pet dog specifically, he don't bite. Well, he might not bite you, but he don't bite. Ask anybody, your dog don't bite. But then you have people that get bit. So I just want to throw that out there.
Sure.
My dog don't bite, okay? I mean, we all know that. And there's also an issue with whether they're picking up behind their dogs on the beach, or is that washing in the water and degrading water quality?
Yes, sir.
Having said that, we all pet friendly. Those are just my comments, but when you got dogs running all over the beach and people laying out in the beach sunning, and then the dog runs by and throws dirt all over them after they put oil all over them, it, you know, it's an issue, but however the board wants to handle it, but those are some of my comments.
Well, since we're on the subject, Mr. Chairman, you know, the big thing is, in this whole sentence we're talking about, is the word safety. Safety means a lot of things to a lot of people. It, just because we say something's safe and that we have an ordinance for voice control, that doesn't mean everybody else going down that beach with an owner that has a dog that's voice controlled feels safe. And that's just the way it is. So I think if we ever did look at anything, what we need to look at is, are we going to continue to do voice control, or are we going to do leash? So, I mean, that's just thoughts for this morning. I don't think the board's ready to do anything other than discuss it, but since we're here, I might as well put my 2 cents in too.
And you know, most of your pet-friendly beaches I've been around, it's not the whole beach. They supposed to have just a
area. Designated area.
But I don't know how they doing it here. Is they using the whole beach?
That's the whole beach.
Yes, sir.
Well, it shouldn't be. I mean, I don't think it should be the whole beach.
Well, one of the reasons the whole beach, one, because we don't have the staff to enforce where it isn't, and it's not dog friendly. The other thing is you have all those rental houses on the beach, and I don't know how many are dog friendly rental houses and how many aren't, but if they are dog friendly rental houses, the beach out front is not dog friendly, you got a conflict. So it's easier just to say it's all dog friendly, just go that way.
I'm just
Now, it's
thinking.
not, I will say, I don't think you have dogs in State Park. I don't think you have dog, in fact, I'm sure you can. So if you didn't want to see dogs, then you would have to drive down to the State Park and go to the beach down there. I think, or they have to be on leashes at least. So.
I ain't got no problem with it if they want the dog, but I still say it should be a certain area because of some people scared of dogs. Bottom line.
Yeah. I think, Commissioner, too, when y'all consider doing whatever you want to do, is that the majority of complaints come like on the weekend. Again, like you stated, that we don't work on the weekend.
Yeah.
So
See, we ain't got no enforcement. When you get a complaint, we can't call them people, the animal control, they might be gone out of town.
Right. But also the weekend crowd is something different than during the week crowd. The weekend crowd is day trippers coming from different areas. I don't necessarily blame Tallahassee and college students, but they're more active to be down here on the weekend, and they are maybe not quite as attentive to their pets. And that's why the problems arise on weekends.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chairman, another thought would be that voice control is subjective. I think we've just heard that. But a leash is a standard of practice. It's a tool. It's visual, and it is clear that it's a leash. I'm wondering would it be appropriate to have our county attorney write maybe a white paper theoretically on perhaps changing our ordinance, remaining beach friendly, but just simply that one area of leash control, not voice control any longer. Would that be appropriate, do you think, to look at it as a theory, and maybe we could talk about it next meeting?
If that's what you want to do, make a motion, I mean.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay.
And again, we're not making a law, we're just looking at what that would look like.
I'll make a second with the contingency that the county Parks and Rec work with county attorney Michael Sewell to look at it and bring back some information for the board. Would you amend your motion to reflect that?
I still amend that motion.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Byrd, second by Commissioner Parrish. One more discussion.
Just to say,
Well,
Mr. Chairman,
just wait a minute, let me say something here and I'll give you the floor. Whilst we in that, I would like for us to look at, we got to do something, I don't know what, but we got to do something for enforcement on that for the people working for the weekend. I mean, we can change all we want to, but right about now, after 5 and on the weekend, it ain't doing us no, you can have all the laws you want, but we ain't got nobody out there till Monday to Friday from 8 to 5. So we got to have somebody to to work this thing.
If you don't have nobody there, they're gonna turn them loose, let them go.
Well, it's a simple budgetary matter.
Yeah.
Budget the money, there can be a person only available. It's just a matter of how much money you want to spend on it.
I wish y'all would seriously look into that, because on the weekend, them guys, they on call, they sitting home,
Well,
just
see,
waiting for
you
a
know-
call. And then some people call, you know, you got a dead cat in the road.
Yeah.
And they don't wanna hear, well, we don't come out for that. They don't wanna hear that. They want you out there.
Well, look, it seemed to me like them tourists. So TDC ought to be paying for something like that, right? For the tourists. I mean, if we get, for the beach. Just a thought. All right.
Just want to say, as we look at this consideration of an ordinance change, that I want to emphasize that we here at Franklin County are people-friendly, animal-friendly, pet-friendly. This is just a thought about taking personal responsibility and controlling wonderful animals, and that's just what we're looking forward to, just for the general safety of everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're responsible for safety. And that's a safety issue. We got to show you we ain't being rough, cause we being pet friendly all over. But the people with the pets, they got to work with us too. Simple as that. I can't put it no other way. Y'all ready to vote?
Hang on,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bolt, would you amend your motion to reflect the chairman's comments and have that being worked out between Fonda and the attorney?
Yes,
to see
sir.
what
Yeah,
we can do
a team
about it?
approach on this, please. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
I'll
amend
amend
that.
my second, reflect the
Yep.
chairman's comments, that y'all consider that too. How many officers you gonna need to do weekend activity during the busy time of the month, and how much that funding, how many officers you need, what that funding request is gonna be as we come up on our budgetary workshops.
Yep.
Just informational purposes only to be considered by the board.
Right.
Indeed. And please prompt us now as we get to that budgetary workshop so we can look at this for you.
Okay. Will do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything been amended? Y'all got all that?
Yeah.
Here's a lot. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Pass unanimous.
Thank you.
Good work.
I think that's enough.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Okay, keep up the good work.
Y'all have a good day.
Next on the agenda be Ms. Pam Vanessa, Emergency Management Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Would like to request the board approval for emergency management to advertise for the emergency management contractual services. We did away with the recovery portion of that. We've actually sent our RFP and our contract to the state. They have to approve it first because this consultant would be paid out of the grant money when they write a grant for such as our LMS or HMPG, our hazard mitigation, or if they wrote a plan for the county, they would be paid out of EMPA funds. So the state requires that they review the RFP and the contract so it makes sure that it meets their approval since you are using those kind of funds to pay them. That would put us in the seat where we would have a contractor to help write some of this hazard mitigation grant when this money comes available. Have it shelf ready.
Pleasure to vote.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
Ms. Pam, will that RFP be sure to include removing debris from Dog Island?
No.
How does that look for you?
No, that's a whole different thing. Now,
Is
we're
that
not-
because of their
This
designation?
is contractual services. This is not anything to do with debris, Commissioner. This has to do with a consultant coming in and looking at our LMS and start writing the grants to get, doing the application to get it ready to submit to the state when that money comes down. Or if we need our LMS updated, since we're completely tied up with trying to do Hurricane Michael process, they can come in and take that burden off of us and be paid out of our grant money that comes from the state, or specifically out of the DAX money. If that project that they write gets approved, then they'll be paid out of the direct administrative cost. Doesn't have anything to do with Dog Island debris, and
This is
again,
administrative.
they're separate from the county, so.
Dog Island, they just about, well, they consider it private, right? Just about. I mean, the state, ain't nothing we can,
Mr.
we
Schuler,
can't
can you
help 'em.
answer what Dog Island is considered?
They
please?
can't help us, we can't help them, and the state won't help them. We ain't got the money. County don't got that kind of money.
Hadn't they been meeting with FEMA, Pam, off the island, off the Dog Island?
Again, I did my portion of it.
I know that, but that's, hadn't the people been meeting with FEMA?
I'm assuming FEMA went over there. I know the state's been over there. I've been over there myself. But again, that, you know, they say they're a special district. They're just like a municipality, which means the county's not responsible for them. And we cannot include them in our contract, because if you do, then you've taken on the burden of paying for it. But they also need to look at, they're no different than the municipalities that Michael was something special. The state stepped in, picked up 100%. I don't foresee that ever happening again, so if you're gonna be a special district, then you need to plan just like your municipalities, and that means you need to put your money up for your disaster, because you are responsible for that 25%, just like the county is and the two municipalities. And there's no guarantee from the state that they have to put out that 12.5%. FEMA says you have to have 25%, be able to pay your 25%. You have to pay for everything up front, just like we do, just like the municipalities do. So, again, if you're going to be a special district and you're going to claim that status, then you need to take responsibility for that. And that's planning ahead, having your contingency, and having your funds put up. I mean, that's the way FEMA looks at it. You pay for it, and then they reimburse you. And if you don't have the money, then, you know, to pay for it, then you're just going to sit there. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I know they've been turned down. Talked to Dr. Rogers that's over there. He told me that they've been meeting with FEMA and they haven't tried to help them none.
I mean, I feel sorry for them. I've been over there. I've looked at it. It is tragic that, you know, all that's piled up over there. But again, they're a special district. They claim that status.
And in every previous storm, FEMA and the Central District has to work something out. We've never been over, the county's never been over in all my years to go over to help remove debris. It's always been worked out one way or the other with the state of Florida or FEMA or something. To compound the problem, I mean, Dog Island has got a major erosion problem out there, and this is just the beginning of their problems, because they're going to be losing more houses in the future.
It's about washed in two or three different places, island, just about gone.
And
Yeah, it's in
because
bad
it's a
shape.
COBRA zone, Coastal Barrier Resource Act zone, you're not gonna be able to get beach nourishment out there. You're not gonna get hazard mitigation money out there. I mean, Dog Island has a bleak future. I'm not going to say it, but it's a problem. And we don't have the resources to save it.
I mean, we don't pick up their trash now. We don't maintain their roads. So, you know, we don't do any of that for them. So FEMA looks at that as, that's not the county's responsibility. They basically take care of their own.
But don't we enforce their building codes?
Well, the state of Florida, because you have to get a building permit anywhere in the state of Florida, whether you're a special district or not. City of Apalachicola, yeah, so we enforce the building code for anything built on Dog Island, yes.
I see.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's probably more building Dog Island without a building permit than we know about. but-
Yeah, understand. That's right. Yeah.
But another issue, not only, I mean, I just bring it up just because, is that like the roads on Dog Island, it's not clear. They're sort of public roads, but, you know, a lot of the vehicles out there don't have driver's license, don't have license tags, so.
I
it's-
see. Real casual, huh? Okay.
You need to make a trip over.
Yeah, we'll go.
Y'all got anything, what, you got some more?
No, sir, I'll go back to work, start on.
Okay, anybody else
Cat
got
fees,
anything
no.
for Ms. Benita? Oh, okay, I got one.
Okay.
Is we storm ready?
And I'm gonna give you my standard answer, Commissioner. My office is, if everybody in this county has a plan, then we're storm ready.
Okay. You on my watch this year, I wanna be storm ready.
You got a plan, know where you going, got your stuff together, then you storm ready.
I'ma leave here.
Good answer.
All right, next on the agenda, keep up the good work, Ms. Pam. Next on the agenda be Mr. Eric Love, String Extension Officer Director.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have a couple of brief items to bring to your attention this morning. One of them relates to the construction contract that we've been working to pull together for the Extension Office renovation project. We have final language now for that, and I guess the next step is to request a signature from the board on that so that we can move forward with issuing a notice to proceed for the contractor. Mr. Schuler has reviewed the contract language. I have worked directly with the Research Reserve Management and the architect to put together the scope of work on that project. And I think we're at that stage where we've finally gotten that scope of work, contract, and all the attachments together in one document that we can present to the board.
Pledge of the board.
Yes, sir, he's correct. And just to remind the board, this is a legislative appropriation for essentially $161,000 or up to $161,000 in renovations to the old DEP building here in Apalachicola. Contract specifically provides that this sum shall not be exceeded without the prior written approval of Franklin County. I think there was some part of the local match, or the local scope of work that your office was going to handle this outside of this scope, is that correct?
There are a few areas on that building where they've had water penetration, and the contractor said those need to be addressed prior to a painting stage for the building, just to make sure moisture levels are okay in the building. And it's around the foundation where debris is accumulated, around a window in one case where they've got some leaking. So Jenna is willing to work with me to address those issues.
And that'll be paid out of the IFAS budget?
Correct. Well, yes, or DEP's funding that they have to just address that building, because the building is still going to be owned by Department of Environmental Protection.
The funds for those, we'll call them outside this contractual scope of work, the funds for those repairs will come from some source other than local ad valorem tax dollars.
Correct.
And I have reviewed the contract, made a few amendments to it, and as far as I understand myself, the architect and the contractor are all in agreement as to the form and content of the contract, and I believe it is ready for the chairman's signature with the approval of the board.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Massey. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Yeah.
The other item that I have relates to a grant proposal that the Appalachia Regional Planning Council is going to submit to the Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, to try to get some support for several industries in the counties that they work within related to impacts from Hurricane Michael. A lot of our industries related to agriculture were really devastated with that storm. So they've put together a proposal, and they're asking for local governments to be able to support that with a letter of support, if possible, that can be sent in with that proposal. They have some letters already together, and I'm just like last minute bringing this request to this board to try to put together a support letter and get it to them. I have a template that I can provide to Michael that he could bring to the chairman for a signature if the board would move to do that.
Mr. Chairman. Were we issued a copy of this proposal to review before we vote on this?
No, sir. You guys have not seen that proposal, actually. I can give you the gist of it, but that's, I mean, I have the proposal, full proposal that I received yesterday,
Cool.
actually.
Is there enough time for you to submit that to us and let us take this up at the,
They need their letters by close of business today in order to submit it with their proposal.
Why did you wait till the last minute to send it?
Well, I dropped the ball a little bit on that. I had submitted a request to somebody to get the full proposal, and I just got it yesterday afternoon, actually. So I dropped the ball and didn't follow up with them when I had sent that request a couple of weeks back, actually. It fell off of my radar. But the basic idea is that they will be doing a project that will support existing and future farmers markets to try to provide some outlets for ag producers. And that's not just typical row crop farmers, but also aquaculture producers and other ag interests to have better connections to local markets. They'll also be working to provide some training in concert with the IFAS folks, the County Extension Office faculty. That would include me probably, and to teach them about some potential for alternative crops maybe. If they have a forestry operation that was just wiped out, there are some alternative options that they could be taught about relative to production. They're also interested in engaging the local farmers regionally related to agritourism opportunities and connecting production sites with outlets for crops, ag crops.
But what if you said about business, end of business today?
Yes, they're looking to submit their proposal this evening, I think, to the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Eric, could you submit that to county staff and let them review it while this meeting's going on?
Sure.
And we'll take action on it before the meeting's over after we get a recommendation from county staff?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's good. Mr. Chairman, I do have one question though, while Mr. Eric's up there, if that's okay. Mr. Eric, is there, other than the letter of support, is there anything that the county is going to be responsible for other than just giving a letter of support?
No, that's
Okay.
it. They're just requesting local support in a letter to the USDA. And
Okay.
the work for the project would be conducted by ARPC staff and UFIFAS extension staff.
Eric, okay, now, I want to ask you a question. I know y'all usually take them trips for the kids and everything to Topeka or somewhere up there. But what are y'all doing for the kids who not interested? You know, every kid got a different scope.
Right.
Like some of them don't. What are y'all doing about the other kids? What y'all got going on for the other kids who don't like that part of the sports?
I'm not sure what you're referring to in terms of.
Like y'all go camping and stuff, and y'all go to this.
Sure, we have the annual Ag Adventures program up at the Research Farm in Quincy. And
Okay.
so kids get exposed there. Pretty much all of the fourth graders in the county are able to attend that. It's a full day program where they learn about ag production on crops like peanuts and corn and cotton and all of the crops that are grown in North Florida here. And,
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about y'all take them to certain events.
Well, we have the camping program that you mentioned at Camp Tempucci, where we send
Right.
30 to 40 kids annually to the 4-H camp there.
Right.
And they have opportunity there to learn about a lot of opportunities for careers and things.
But do y'all got anything out there for them kids who ain't doing nothing?
What he's trying to say, the ones that don't go camping,
Right.
the other ones that don't, you got something for them to do if they don't want to go camping, some other program they can do?
Well, we do other educational programs in the community. I don't know, and I've been to career fairs and events locally to talk about agricultural and not just that, but careers related to extension work in the county. So I'm not sure, what bases you're specifically interested in trying to have covered.
I just want something for them to do so they can stay out of trouble. anything, just keep them busy.
Yeah.
I think he might be asking if there are any programs outside of the normal scope of what IFAS does, agriculture. So if there are kids interested in other things besides that, do you have any programs for that? Or are you just
Well-
restricted basically to IFAS agriculture?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking,
Yeah.
sir?
Yeah, no, definitely not. The 4-H program in general has a really broad range of topics that youth can participate in. And we have 2 clubs. That's been the interest level that we've been able to develop so far since I've been here, that are operating with youth in the county. And those youth have project opportunities related to a wide range of fields for potential careers and jobs. It's not just agriculture. I mean, there's a club in Carabel and East Point area that focuses on photography aspects. And so they're training youth to be able to do photography, and that could be a potential career. So there's a wide range of topical areas within 4-H that are really, that's the broad range of opportunities that we offer. I'm just a single agent in this county, so I don't do a lot of individual teaching myself. But we have those opportunities available through the 4-H clubs and programs that our volunteer leaders are working with.
Okay, and y'all put the information out there so people know they're doing it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, I just
That's
had a
what I'm trying to
request
find
from
out.
another parent who's interested in having their child involved in 4-H this morning, sent me an email. She just was looking for a little more information about it. But information's there on our website, and we put out announcements for events and activities. That club out of Carabel opened up their photography competition this year to any students in the county that wanted to participate, and we sent, I think, there were about 8 youth that sent photographs that they used where they won first place in a local competition here in the county. We submitted those to the state 4-H photography contest, so that just happened. So things like that are available. If I get specific requests from people for information about things, topics, I try to address those.
Okay. All right.
Eric?
Yes, sir.
At the state commissioner convention in Orlando this week, the exhibit hall was well attended by the University of Florida Extension Office. They had a beautifully decorated exhibit, and many products from Florida farmers were dispensed there. We saw caladium bulbs and honey and sugar, and it impressed, I thought,
Is
very
that the
well.
Florida Association of Counties meetings?
Sure
Yes.
did.
And then
Yep.
they have the farm store there, and
They sure did.
lots of information for
Yeah.
county officials to come and learn about.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, anything else, Avery?
No, sir, thank you.
Got anything else?
No, sir.
Y'all got anything else? Well, we gonna get back with you before soon as the staff review it, we'll give you a call. You'll be able to get it in before they do.
Thank you, I appreciate your consideration. Apologize for that last minute on this one.
Okay, take 5.